And demand has made me one of the happiest people in the world. Why? Because we focus on giving consumers what they want. So one of the New York Times articles that they said is the most emailed article is how to train a good husband. And I went on eHow today, one of our great demand properties, and we have 24,600 articles on how to be in a good marriage or with the word husband in them. So if any of you need marriage tips, feel free to go there. I am thrilled about what we're doing at Demand and thinking about using 3 things that are in the new media world. Number 1 is search and the database of intention that John Battelle called out years ago. Number 2 is really the social graph. And number 3 is apps. We use them every day. We're building our company on it. We have 82 million unique users on a monthly basis. We are having a great time. Steven Kydd is one of the co-founders of the company, and he's going to tell you about the fantastic studio that we have going. Then you'll get a cocktail when he's done. So I promise that he'll step on the gas and speed it up, because that's what we do at Demand. We go, go, go. Thank you, Steven.
All right. No one wants a cocktail more than me, so let's go. Excited to show you guys some things today. I'm going to show you some things that no one's ever seen before. You as marketers have to understand our model, and what we really want to do is open the hood a little bit and let you see in a granular way how we create content and what we think is an explosive new model for content creation. Some people saw that explosive model as something different. These are some of the nice things that some folks in traditional journalism have been saying about us over the past few years. And quite honestly, we've learned a lot since the Wired article came out last year talking about our approach and our model. And what's fascinating is most of these folks hadn't really spoken to us before. And then when they did, and they learned about our process, some of which I'm going to show you today, they found out that things are very, very different, and they were actually really quite impressed. So part of the reason why we got the type of reaction we did is because we're really disruptive. So as Joanne mentioned, our network gets over 80 million uniques. We got to be close enough here. We've grown 59% year over year, and we're in 9 key Comscore categories in the top 10. In May alone, we created over 180,000 pieces of original content. And we're the largest contributor of content in the world to YouTube by a factor of 5. So I find it fascinating, the other conversation back here earlier talking about lots of references to 1950s and the like. Everything I'm talking about is creating the new media business, and that's what we're really excited about. So the future that we think is science, scale, and soul. And that is the underlying premise of everything that we do at Demand. The unique part, though, is that we use a proprietary platform that we've built over the past 4 years. And I think it's important for you to all to understand, when we started the company 4 years ago, we set out to create an entirely new media model. And so we raised a fair amount of capital, $355 million. We attracted some great entrepreneurial talent as well as management talent from folks with great backgrounds in content, distribution, and monetization. And so this idea of using science, scale, and soul, and I'll talk about those a little bit, to what we think is, define the next stage of the media business has proven quite effective. So the results have been like this. So we've created over 1.5 million pieces of original text content, over 180,000 original videos, and we create over 6,000 unique original pieces of content per day in the head, the torso, and the tail. All, like Joanne said, listening to the database of intentions, which comes from the internet. I mean, we view the internet as the world's greatest market research platform if you just take the time to listen. And I think what's valuable here for all of you who deal with marketers every day is I think most media companies are interested in creating content that they think audiences are interested in, and we're unabashedly devoted to giving them exactly the content that they wish for, because we take the time to listen and we use data and algorithms to help deliver it to them. So I'm going to show you a demo which no one's ever seen before, and with any luck, it'll work. Here's an example of how our process works. We have thousands of content creators all around the country, and all of them have been qualified and all of them help us create this content every single day. So I think what's really important here to see is this is real live content that's been created for our properties. Why don't I start here with, natural laundry tips. So here's Kathleen, who's a titler, and then a Rose, who's also another titler, and a writer based up in Bellevue, Washington. Every single one of these people has been qualified. This is not user-generated content. If you're a writer, you need to submit a writing sample and a resume. You're a copy editor, you need to have 3 to 5 years copyediting experience in the offline world. So instead of focusing on UGC and hoping that we would be able to find some good stuff in the process, what we did is focused on professional freelancers. Folks who create content for many of the major media companies today, and when they have an opening in their schedule, they log in to our studio platform and create content specifically directed in the ways that we want them to. So this is a great example of how we harness the power of the crowd, but it's the qualified crowd. And that's very, very important. That's how you create high quality content that marketers want, that users demand, and that obviously has enduring value. All right, so what I just showed you was pretty radical in some respects, right? Which is turning traditional media on its head. But first, a little history. So how did we actually get here? When we started the company 4 years ago, we said, how are we going to scale quality content creation for dozens of sites and expect them to grow? And again, we're going to use science, scale, and soul. So the science part was there was this great mismatch, right, between the cost and the revenue associated with content creation. So we knew we needed to change what we created, but we also knew that we needed to change how we created it. And then we also needed to minimize risk, right? I mean, so everyone here is in the media business. You all know John Wanamaker, right? He says, I know that half my advertising works. I just don't know which half. Well, we wanted to solve that very same problem, but for content. And so we've developed sophisticated algorithms and listening to data and listening to what consumers want to ensure that there's an audience and advertiser and the ability to execute for every piece of content that we create. And that's quite radical, right? That's actually increasing the value of every piece of content that we create and removing risk from the process. You needed to build a scalable platform, and this is where the scale comes in. You know, we're in a completely different world. We needed something that would scale like Google-like scale, Facebook-like scale. And most of the traditional media companies truly aren't set up to do that, and we needed to build a flexible publishing platform that allowed us to create text and video and lots of other formats in the future, and that's what we've set out to do. And also, this scale is important for the long tail and for search and social. So again, in the prior world, right, there was X number of pages on the newsstand, and that was what you created content for, and hopefully that's where your marketers found their audience. Now we're talking about massive platforms like Google and Facebook and others with endless amounts of shelf space. And so you needed to create a platform that allowed us to do that and take advantage of that opportunity, and in turn, help your clients take advantage of those opportunities as well. And then lastly is soul. So one of the things we talk about at Demand a lot is soul, and how we use all of our faculties within the company, whether it's product development, whether it's community, whether it's content, all with soul at its core, and trying to find a way to have real connection with users. And so one of our sites is livestrong.com, and many of you may know that site, an incredibly rabid fan base that's all about living a healthier life. And lots of the applications, including things like the Daily Plate, help them track everything that they do, having real positive impact on people. But one of the things that we just announced this morning, which is really important, is our Talent and Expert Network. And so this is a way for us to turbocharge soul within the platform. And so when I talk about these thousands of freelancers who've been working for us all around the country, now they're going to be added to with people who are published authors. So Rolf Potts, for example, was a published author and used to be the host of a Travel Channel show. And he's actually now creating premium video series for us. Also academics and researchers. So Dr. Leslie Saxon is actually starring in some Livestrong videos for us. And then lastly, there's an on-screen talent role as well, where we use Johnny Littlefield, who was on Extreme Home Makeover Edition. He's doing a series for us called Habitat House. So if you think about all these roles that we need to create high-quality content, writers, filmmakers, copy editors, title proofers, what we're doing now is adding our new role to the studio, and that is talent and experts. And so what we're going to find is we're going to find the next Emerald, and we're going to find the next Rachel Ray. And we're going to be able to do that for the age of the internet.